Good morning, everyone. Miss Jackie back today with a new read aloud called Chocolate Fever. And right now, I feel like I have chocolate fever, so I think this book is going to be a good one. I hope that you'll join me each day for a new chapter until the book is finished. So, Chapter 1 Chocolate Fever by Robert Kimmel Smith. And here's a picture to get you started so you have an idea. Do some of you feel that way sometimes? All you can ever think about is sweets, chocolate, and ice cream. I know I do. Chapter 1, Meet Henry Green. There are some people who say that Henry Green wasn't really born, but hatched, fully grown from a chocolate bean. Anyway, this particular Henry Green we're speaking of was really born, not hatched, and had a wonderful mom and dad in the bargain. His father was tall and lean and wore eyeglasses, except when he was sleeping or in the shower. Mama Green, whose name was Enid, was a short, slim woman with blue-gray eyes and a tiny mouth that always seemed to be on the verge of a smile. Here's a family picture. They all lived in an apartment in the middle of the city, along with Henry's older brother and sister. Mark Green was 10 and tall and very good to Henry, except when they would argue, which was often, and then he would hit Henry on the head with anything that was handy, which sometimes was hard. But mostly Mark was fun to be with and only got angry when Henry called him Marco Polo. Mark didn't like that, and who could blame him? Henry's sister was very, very old, almost 14. She didn't even argue with Henry or Mark ever. In fact, she hardly talked to them at all because she was so old and wise and almost grown up. Her name was Elizabeth. The other morning, which was a school day at the end of the week called Friday, Henry, Mark, and Elizabeth were at the table in the dining room having some breakfast. Mark was eating fried eggs. Elizabeth was quietly chewing on her usual breakfast of buttery toast and milk, and Henry was midway through his usual breakfast too. Chocolate cake, a bowl of Cocoa Crisp cereal, and milk with chocolate syrup in the milk to make it more chocolatey. Washed down with a big glass of chocolate milk and 5 or 6 chocolate cookies. Sometimes, when it was left over from the night before, Henry would have chocolate pudding too. And on Sunday mornings, he usually had chocolate ice cream. The truth was that Henry was in love with chocolate, and chocolate seemed to love him. It didn't make him fat. He was a little on the thin side, in fact. It didn't hurt his teeth. He never had a cavity in his whole life. It didn't stunt his growth. He was just about average height, perhaps even a little tall for his age. It didn't harm his skin, which had always been clear and fair. But most of all, it never, ever gave him a bellyache. And so his parents, perhaps being not as wise as they were kind, let Henry have as much chocolate as he'd like. Can you imagine a boy having a chocolate bar sandwich as a school snack? Breakfast? Can you believe it? Well, Henry did just about every day. And when he ate mashed potatoes, just a few drops of chocolate syrup swished through seemed to make them taste a lot better. Chocolate sprinkles sprinkled on top of plain buttered noodles were tasty too. Not to mention a light dusting of cocoa on things like canned peaches, pears, and applesauce. In the Greens' kitchen pantry, there was always a giant supply of chocolate cookies, chocolate cakes, chocolate pies, and chocolate candies of every kind. There was ice cream too. Chocolate, of course, and chocolate nut, chocolate fudge, chocolate marshmallow, chocolate swirl, and especially chocolate almond crunch. And all of it was just for Henry. Can you believe that? It's a little crazy. If there was one thing you could say about Henry, it was that he surely did love chocolate. Probably more than any boy in the history of the world, his mother said. How does Henry like his chocolate? Daddy Green would sometimes joke. Why, he likes it bitter, sweet, light, dark, and daily. And that was true up until the day we're talking about right now. I wonder what's going to happen. This is the end of chapter 1, so stay tuned tomorrow for chapter 2 to see what happens.